Hello everyone. It's been a while since my last video. I've been tied up with a lot of stuff. Today, and it's been requested of me quite a lot, is the Guardian class showcase. Guardian being my new main vocation now. The Guardian is basically the master class, the first of the master classes. Looks like Square Enix is now going to be releasing a master class and maybe an advanced vocation class every expansion now. But this is basically the armor that you see in the cover box of version 6. I just never knew it was going to be an actual class. And of course, I dyed it to my standards. The Guardian is a cross between Warrior and Paladin, having the offensiveness of Warrior and the defensiveness of Paladin. Granted, they have a little less HP than Paladin, and they don't have the debuffing capabilities of Warrior, but what they do excel at is basically reducing the damage of others. They have a stronger heal than Paladin. They can revive the whole party by sacrificing themselves using Kerplunk, and quite a lot of other options too. Pretty much also, Guardians do far more damage than Warrior or Paladin, even Spear Paladin. That's not to say that Warrior and Paladin still don't have their places. Paladins still have the triple weight effect to where they can wall off enemies on their own, as well as their singular invincibility, which also draws hate for a short time period. Warriors still have their debuffing capabilities, as well as their new shield block in place of a party member. Basically, it's like Paladin cover from Final Fantasy XI. Only they're able to act while doing it. What Guardian excels at is basically protecting others. And of course, when they go into their pep mode, they will raise their abilities and stats as well. The Guardian is a vocation that uses sword, claymore, spear, fist, shield, and their trait is selflessness. Now, you'll see a mixture of Guardians using any one of these. However, do not scoff at sword, and if using correct sword and shield, you can do quite a lot of damage and still have all that defensive ability that comes with having a shield. Since Guardians also has a few hidden traits, they have a higher shield block and parry rate compared to Warrior and Paladin. It's not shown, but I have seen it myself through many fights I have done with Guardian. I would shield block or parry quite often. For sword, I took out one of the attacks because it was pretty much redundant due to what abilities that Guardian has. It does just as much, if not the same damage as that charge ability. Instead, vying for extra parry rate, more attack, more crit rate, and more damage. A reduction on guard. Now this is special to Guardians. What this does is 30% chance to gain damage reduction when guarding. Pretty much anytime you parry or shield block, you have a 30% chance to have even more greater damage reduction for yourself. Claymore Guardians is basically there for those who want to go full-on offensive. So obviously I put in abilities to reflect that. I lowered Swirlwind down because it wasn't really needed, since I have AoE from Selflessness. More on that later. Of course, I also put in skill damage. What I could do is I could probably swap out parry rate for more skill damage. So I'll probably look into that. Actually, I apologize. No. Right. That's basically set in stone. Pretty much yes. Claymore has the most damage of them, while Sword gets more light attack damage. More on that later. Spear, it's your usual fare. I've seen a lot of Guardian Spear users and Paladin users now that Paladin's been buffed, mainly used multi-thrust instead of their light bring. Well, for Paladins, they mainly use multi-thrust. Guardians, however, will still use Lightbringer, unless, of course, what they're fighting has high resistance to light or immunity to light. In which case, multi-thrust is what you want to use. With the new spear that came out, you can actually get quite a high parry rate, as well as with your spear. As you can see, lots of parry here. More parry right there. And then, of course, if you move this up to here, you can probably get even more parry. And then with the brand new spear, which I'm assuming Spear Guardians are probably going to use for quite a long time, you can likely get even about 8-10 or so % more parry if you put parry alchemy onto it to go with the existing bonuses of that spear. Shield for Guardian is a little different. For Paladins, they get max HP. Guardian, for some reason, gets max MP. I've noticed a lot of Guardians adding more MP to their pools instead of HP, which is honestly, to me, very strange. So I will often see Guardians with 50 to 70 more MP than me, because I've been using Master Orb bonuses that lowers my MP to give me more HP or other bonuses. Since MP is, quite honestly, a useless stat to you, with the availability of items to recover your MP, and vocations that can also restore your MP. It's probably one of the reasons why my character keeps getting recruited all the time over other Guardians. But for shield, I went with these. I could change Holy Impenetrable out for something else, but there really isn't much else to pick. Then we have Selflessness. Goes with a lot of strength and resilience. Natural HP 20. Keep in mind, these carry over to all your other vocations, so even if you don't plan on playing Guardian, you want to at least get its skill points up, or unlock it, and just put all your skill points into there and be done for the day. That way you get all these bonuses. Never hurts to have more HP. First of the Guardian skills is Fist of Justice. Attacks nearby enemies with the power of light. This is a light-based attack that mainly goes off of your attack power and deafness, but magical might also plays a hand in any of your light-based attacks. Bound to Bound. This breaks a barrier around you and your party members to reflect one spell. This does not impede healing magic. So, even if you have Bound Around on everybody, they can still be healed and it won't be bounced. Vital Recital. This increases your max HP for a duration, about 200 HP. Something you generally want to do at the start of a battle, and you want to make sure you maintain it, especially if you have the focus of the enemy you're fighting. Divine Defense. This is a blessing that goes on you and everyone else. From what I've seen, it reduces all damage by 60 points. And it stacks with your own damage reduction and your pep ability. More on that later. Lightbringer. This is your bread and butter single DPS attack. You'll be using this very often, regardless of what weapon you are using. This does 4 strikes of light, decent crit rate, and it can be particularly damaging on enemies that are weak to light, have been weakened to light, or if you've been basically Force Ornamentalist, light buffed. And I've seen quite a few arms buffing light onto people's weapons because they see a Guardian or two in the party, particularly in the Assaultia Defense Force. 110, you get more parry rate, and Guardians have high parry. Rarely survive at 1 HP. This works very well if you decide to use a gold deck. I typically don't use the gold deck. Blessed Blade. This is a charge skill. Basically deals 6 strong attacks with the Sword of Light. If certain conditions are met, I often crit each one of these 6 hits for anywhere from 1800 to up to well, 3,000 to 4,000 damage, depending on conditions. It'll also debuff the enemy to be weaker against light, in which case Lightbringer will then do even more damage. Free turn 1%. Seems kind of a waste. I hope the developers look at this and put in a different bonus. Because no idea why they would put something like this in. Your turn rates are so high, you don't need a 1% chance or even a 10% chance not to use a turn. Kerplunk. Since most of you have played Dragon Quest, I'm sure you know what this does. Don't really need to explain. Now for these abilities, I decided to go with Spell Recovery plus 5 to get more out of my more heal. Skill damage plus 10, so I do more damage with my skills. 20 to Strength, so a large damage increase. Damage taken -10, so I take less damage than usual. And Undying Will. Now this ability, similar to Paladin, it's got a 90-second charge, and for 10 seconds, makes you invincible. Very useful if you know that a big hit is coming or there's something you just gotta avoid. For spells, you got Mid Heal, Snub, Kabuff, More Heal, and of course your Kerplunk. Now, my particular More Heal, that depends on what is going on with me at the time. My More Heal normally heals about 320 to about 450 HP. However, if I go into Pep mode, and because of an accessory I am using, which gives Care Prayer on Pep, my More Heal then becomes a heal that heals for up to 950 HP. That's practically a full heal. Kabuff, there is a Master Orb for that to basically allow it to cast faster, but this allows you to raise your allies' defensives. Obviously, you want to use this twice for 40% increase on not only yourself, but others. Then Snub. This is unique to Guardian. It creates a self-barrier and amplifies spells for a duration. Once again, healing spells are not affected by this, so you can still be healed with this. What this essentially does is it makes you immune to all casted spells so long as it's up. Enemy skills and basically certain weird magic skills will still apply. But things like Meteor, Kafrizzle, things like that, Snub will basically make you immune to it. Now, these are the Pep skills. Now, what is Pep, you're wondering? Well, if any of you played Dragon Quest XI, I'm sure a lot of you did. What Pep does is it replaces the special. Now, when you are in Pep, you will start glowing blue, just like in Dragon Quest XI, and all your parameters will increase, just like in Dragon Quest XI. Only difference is that if you use any of your special abilities while in Pep, your Pep isn't just going to go away. Your Pep will still persist for a period of time. The two Pep skills are Might of Light and Ramparty. Might of Light will always be up every time you have Pep again. It reduces your cooldown for all your current skills by 10 seconds and increases your damage dealt. Ramparty will put down a barrier on the ground that will nullify all damage of those that are in it for about 10 to 15 seconds, depending on where you have your Master Orb. Now, while you are under Pep, your movement speed during Pep will be increased by 10%, your turns will be much faster, your max HP is increased by 20%, your strength is increased by 20%, and you take -30 damage. What it does not tell you is that when you are in Pep, your party members benefit too. What they get is the damage taken during Pep, -30, and the movement speed plus 10%. That's a great benefit for them because they'll be able to move out of the way or get to places quicker, and of course they'll take even less damage. Now, for equipment, I'm still using the Azure Core because I don't want the Flame set. I'm waiting until 6.5 for the next armor set. But for my sword and shield, I have the Celis, offensive-oriented with critical rate. Alternatively, you could put in parry if you want to be even more defensive with your already high parry and block rate. It is up to you. It would turn you into a complete total turtle tank if you did decide to go with parry rate instead of critical rate. As for shield, I went with block rate. For my accessories, I went with Demon Dog Mask, which gives me Hop Stick, Care Prayer, and Oomphel whenever I pep. It also adds a 2% extra starting special charge. Dreadful Necklace, Max HP. Holy Guardian Ring, still gotta finish this. Nubis Ankh, for more max HP and some MP. Still using a Bravery Belt, since I haven't been able to get a particular belt I want from the Royal Maze just yet. It's difficult. It takes time. I'm using HP Defense and Attack Replicard. Usual Dragonic Orb. It's about 3 points from Perfection. Alpha Symbol, for more attack and defense. And the Magus Medal, which comes from the current boss coin Amon, for more critical rate and, of course, more critical damage. Now for this, I'm bringing just the priest with me, so I can show this to you better. Alright, let's go. Because, quite honestly, if I bring in 2 others, I mean, I could just put them down to level 90 and do it that way, but this will make it easier to show. Already pepped, so now I'm going to use Divine Defense. Increase my health further. Got her too, huh? This won't last long. He's the spider today, huh? Okay. Now, if it was any other class, they wouldn't have survived that. Black Widow's Kiss is basically an AoE absolute killer. I could have got out of the way of it, but I wanted to see if my damage reductions would hold through, and it did. Okay, so it looks like this one's got spells and roar. Not sure which boss she is today. Just wish there was an immunity for that. You do get a Master Orb for Snub, for quicker cast. Very useful. HP's about to go, so put it back up again. She's got a breath attack. Seems everybody's got death spells today. In that case... Since his lightning storm does minimal damage, I don't need to watch out for it. So he does kaboom, I'll have snub up then. Yeah, no effect this time. Really healed himself for that much, huh? Okay. Since it's going to be like that. She's using that hedge and burn. Very well. F's back up. I was wondering about the timer. It started while I was basically in the waiting area. That is Guardian. So to sum it up, Guardian is a master class, one of the first. My guess is they're going to release a new master class every expansion. Heck, we might even see 2 next expansion. Which requires either Paladin or Warrior to level 100 and having all of its class quests finished. I believe you have to have both Warrior and Paladin at 100 and do all their class quests, including any side stuff, in order to qualify to become a Guardian. I believe you also need version 6. Guardians are a vocation that specializes in defense and offense, being able to do either one, depending on your needs. It's honestly a very versatile vocation, and it actually suits my own personal attributes. That's why it's my new favorite vocation. You're probably going to see me on it all the time going forward. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you for watching. Good night.